Chapter 11. The house is empty, and silence fills my spaces. I don't like it. Sometimes on days like today, I prefer the noise of the crowd. For a while I could control silence with reading or recalling words, sentences and phrases, but still there always came a moment when my mind would start thinking about you. I miss you, and I start wishing that you were with me, here, next to me, or that at least you'd write a few lines to me, like you used to. I miss it so much. I always have. But nothing happens. The house is empty. The house is always empty. No matter how many people are inside, silence invades my mind, and I don't appreciate it. This has become a vicious circle in this square mind of mine. Neither the chaos of a crowded place nor the peaceful quiet of empty surroundings can get you out of my mind. I need even more distractions to avoid remembering you. There is nothing more terrible than feeling you so close, but hearing you breathe so far away. There is nothing more torturous than knowing you are checking on me, what I do, where I go, but without saying a word to me, although maybe that is your goal, to torture me from a distance whilst staying nearby enough to watch. Callous. That's another thing you can feel proud about. You are accomplishing your goal. Congratulations. The question is, was this the size of the impact you caused the last time we spoke? Did you collect all the times when I was immature and spoiled so you could get your revenge all at once? I still don't understand. Please help me to understand. There is one thing I feel proud about, and it's that I reached self-awareness about the people I left behind while I was evolving. I realize now how immature I was when I lived in Lima. And it is here where question marks start to march down a catwalk like a Victoria's Secret angel. If I was truly that immature, what did you like about me? Other than my appearance, other than my efforts to look attractive, besides my will to be the flirty and joyous social butterfly, what made you attracted to me? I make a small stop here, if you allow me, because a memory of us in El Golf appears in my mind, like a distracted parachuter. The night we were both sitting at that restaurant, and you told me how much you liked me, with those dark eyes of yours wide open. Those eyes, looking at me like the wolf looks at Red Riding Hood. I remember as well how critical my trust issues were, yet I still accepted your invitation and allowed myself to get lost in the stratosphere when you kissed me. I never felt that way again. Never again. The house is empty, and I can't find any answers, no matter where I search. Will you help me? Really? Tell me what it was that you liked about me in that moment. Can't you remember at all, now that you've decided to pretend that you don't know me, that you don't look at me, that you don't miss me? Have you stopped for a moment to wonder why you ignore me, yet you are still controlling my agenda? It seems like the house will stay empty. Silence fills your space, and I taught myself to like it. At this point, I'm happy to see your picture and remember our encounters every now and then. I arrive on time to our dates, and I picture you calling me crazy just because I giggle without any special reason. I picture you calling me witch because I told you one of my dark jokes. I picture you feeling sorry for all the pizzas that cross your path after the trauma I caused you in that pizza place. There is nothing more painful than feeling you close, but hearing you far away. And I don't feel proud of being immature and insecure when I met you. I don't feel proud of the woman who had a heart of stone and who pushed you away from her. That woman never understood, at least in that moment, how it was possible to love two people at the same time. Now I know. And that is how the ordinary suddenly feels like an earthquake in Lima. Surprising, but not entirely unexpected. The phone rang, and he appeared. His voice, his being, reminded her of what it feels like to have your heart racing a mile a minute, or have your stomach twist into a knot of anxiety. He and she, at last, he hundreds of kilometers away, and she feeling him so close. borderline. Thank you. Hello, June. Thank you. Hi, are you busy? I was. Thank you. You're making me a little nervous. Why are you thanking me so much? I'm thanking you for coming back. Thank you for coming back. I never left. I thought about you so much, Octavio. Forgive me that it took so long, actually. The path turned out to be longer and more difficult than I thought. It took extra effort to get to this point. Are you still there? Hello? Octavio, come and see me. Let's meet up. What? Are you still in Madrid? Where can I see you? No, I'm still here in the Netherlands. I want you to come. I want to see you. I need to see you. I can't, June. You're asking for the impossible. Good Lord. Please, Octavio. No, I can't. I'm begging you. I'm literally begging with my heart in my hands. I just told you I can't. You're pushing too far, woman. Why did I call you? Please. Don't ask any more. There are things that haven't changed with you. It's not that I don't want to, but you need to give me time. I walked for a long time to get to this point, to call you, and now you're asking me to fly. Please don't rush things. So typical Gemini. You have no idea how long I've been dreaming of this moment, how many times I went to sleep wishing I'd find you in my dreams. Are you crying, June? Please don't, woman. I guess so. It's been a long time since I've cried. I have to thank you for that. Here we go again. You're thanking me. I don't feel proud of making a woman cry, especially you. I hate hearing you this way. I missed you so much. Please come. June, don't do this to me. Octavio, my Libra. It was Wednesday, only a couple of days away from the weekend. June didn't expect Octavio to accept her invitation, though she tried anyhow. By Friday afternoon, she did not think anymore. She was all about feelings. Her body had a life of its own, whilst walking around in the airport, her soul floating above her, seeing from above how her curly ebony hair danced in the air. Soon he would arrive, on the flight he'd found last minute after that surprising phone call. Her annoyance increased as each minute passed. There was nothing as irritating as waiting. Her hands were trembling, her pupils were dilated, and keeping her breathing slow and steady became a challenge. Octavio would arrive any minute, and June would wait for him amongst the mass of people behind the electric doors. These were moments of hesitation, the idea that Octavio could have lied to her. However, this thought didn't last and quickly disappeared. June knew Octavio would never lie to her. She knew he wasn't that cruel. They both had the desire to see each other, to find each other, to forgive each other, to touch each other. She did not want anybody to witness what was about to happen. After 7 long years of waiting for the curse of a broken mirror to end, staring at the clock, her eyes following the rotating hands, she counted down the minutes, the seconds. Nervousness, anxiety, need and stubbornness were torturing June, but she could enlarge that list of feelings, adding sensations she had forgotten even existed outside her flat line of a life, sensations she'd stopped feeling a long time ago. And suddenly there he was, carrying a backpack, serious and slightly arrogant in a way, just like himself. He hadn't changed at all, at least not to June's eyes, as she watched him from a distance, paralysed, obsessing every single detail about him. So many years had passed, and although she didn't want to admit it, she'd forgotten details of his appearance. Their eyes met without saying a word, but feeling it all. It had always been like this between these two soulmates. And you are officially the most welcomed person in the entire world, she said, still in shock at his presence. She smiled nervously, looking everywhere but at him, until she got the courage to meet his big brown eyes. After a second, she jumped at him and locked him in her arms. She wanted to imprison him, his body, his warmth. Memories of the past were screaming at her. He brings her back to the past. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. An electric shift enveloped her, making her feel like she felt once before, or maybe like she'd never felt before. Much obliged. Thank you for coming to pick me up, June. I can't breathe. Welcome to the Netherlands. An adventurous tear fell from her eyes and landed between her lips. I knew you were looking forward to seeing me again, but I wasn't expecting tears, he joked sarcastically. Come on, June, give me another hug. Those grumbly bear hugs that only you give. I need them too. I've missed you so much, my Gemini. Octavio kissed June's forehead while holding himself back, playing the cool guy, although a lone tear would betray that facade to the outer world. The older we get, the more sensitive we get. But yes, the truth is, I'm very happy you're here. But what do you want to do now? Do you want to go to the hotel to drop your things off and go for a drink? Or would you rather go for lunch now? Your wish is my command. You are the star guest. June rejoiced with an enormous smile as he continued to gaze at her. So, say something. Only today. Well, that depends on you. It can be today only, or until the end of your days. June smiled at him mischievously. June. You asked. Okay, let's start for today and for the rest of the weekend. June smiled cheekily. You enjoy entangling people and yourself, don't you? Let's go to the hotel first. I want to shower and change before we go out. Is it far? No, it's not far. First we need to get away from the airport. She glanced at him with suspicious eyes. It doesn't take that long, by car. Are we taking a cab? Octavio asked in surprise as they walked through the parking garage. No, June beamed, obviously happy. Did you come with someone else? Octavio asked, his level of surprise increasing. Nope, by myself, June replied proudly. So we're taking a cab then. Octavio's surprise started to transform into innocent impatience. I said no. No taxi is waiting for us. Again, June's surprise made its appearance. Oh, dear Lord, don't tell me you're driving. Octavio's face shifted from surprise to impatience, and then from impatience to panic. June had this special talent of making someone's mood change at impressive speed. She did it again. Yes, I understand your shock. But it was about time I got a driving license after so many years living here. Don't you believe me? Oh, you can't hide how proud you are of me. You're so sweet. June giggled, showing her not too innocent, sarcastic side. You, driving? You behind the wheel? Holy crap. I think I'll just stay here and wait for the next flight back to Madrid. Octavio retorted with exaggerated panic, teasing June. Thank you for your trust, but no worries. I've had enough practice. It will go fine. June assured him proudly. It will go fine. Where? If you drive a car the way you eat pizza. Hold on, I'm calling a cab. Octavio trembled exaggeratedly, pretending to almost run away. Comedy was always his thing. How mistrustful. Jeez. Don't you worry, my dear. You're in good hands. I had to get my driving license. I'd had enough of biking in the rain and storms. I thought you'd be happy and proud of me, seeing me independent at last. But I'm almost feeling offended. Silly you. It seems you haven't changed your grumpy mood. For your information, I was joking. So smile. Botox is expensive. I know. It's me who's joking now. Come on, get in and go with the flow. June said whilst walking him through the parking lot toward her car. Help! Someone! Cried Octavio. Comedy, once again, was always his thing. Amongst thousands of lost and found souls, June and Octavio were walking with purpose through the parking lot. The tables were turned, now he was the nervous one. So many years later, it had been 2005 when they met, and he still looked at her in confusion every time she smiled for no reason. For Octavio, June was still that joyful and cheerful 20-something-year-old from many years ago. To her, he was a surprising haul who could manage to confuse and surprise her, but she would not let herself be surprised and confused. Some people don't fancy this type of question, but I'll ask you anyway, she said as she drove, enjoying the look of confusion on his face. And your question is? Octavio answered, lowering his brows. How was your flight? Was there any turbulence? How was the service? Were you able to sleep? You said only one question. This is the third degree. You may answer them one by one, June beamed as she shot Octavio a wink. Flight was quiet, plane was full. Service, some of the best I've seen. I still can't believe I found a last-minute ticket. Well, I'm walking on clouds because you found it. Even when it's only for 3 days. Even when it's only 3 days. It's 3 days, Octavio. Glances were exchanged between them as if no time had passed at all. I hope you like the hotel I reserved for you. Could you see the pictures? Yes, I did, but I still don't trust your taste, Octavio said arrogantly. Oh, really? Well, let me inform you that it's all you'll be offered, and you better like it, unless you want to spend the night on the benches at the train station, the airport, or Leidseplein, June replied sarcastically. It was a good sign. You are such an adorable host. I'm melting all over the place with all this love. I know. The connection was made. Now it was only a matter of timing to start solving pending issues and maybe talk about the future, a future together. They arrived at the hotel. June decided to stay in the hotel bar, making some phone calls. Her guest's call was so sudden that it hadn't given her time to attend to some pending appointments. Her priority was Octavio, though at least for that weekend. April, I can't talk now. I promise that when I arrive, I'll give you a call. The book is in its final phase, June. We have an appointment today with one of the biggest publishers around. And you want to cancel it last minute. Have you lost your mind? I know, but I have this unexpected situation. I'll reschedule and let you know when I have a new appointment. June, I'm leaving for Dubai in 2 weeks. Shit, I forgot about that. And now? I have to think. The appointment is in 3 hours, so think fast. I don't understand what on earth could be more important than meeting with the publisher who wants to publish that pearl you've been working on for so long. I hear you, and I can't believe it. What's going on, June? You disappoint me. April. What, June? Say something. Octavio is here. He just arrived. But for God's sake, have you lost it? Again? Do you have any idea how long it took me to get you that appointment, and you're risking it all for that jerk? How ungrateful of you, June. April, please, relax. Don't talk like that. You know what? April, please. Bye, June. Go ahead with your honeymoon. What? What are you talking about, April? It was too late. A disappointed April had hung up the phone, leaving June between a rock and a hard place. April was absolutely right about the publisher and the Madrilenian, but June needed to take the risk one more time, even if it made her the most selfish friend on the planet. She left her life with Augusto for one reason, to do what her guts told her to do and to take risks, to risk it all for it all. June ordered a caramel latte from the hotel bar. Even though she'd gone to bed early last night, this coffee would help banish her tiredness. She needed energy, after all, to do her job as a tourist guide. Once her appointments were cancelled, resulting in a very angry friend, she started to plan the potential itinerary for the day. Her first day with him after so many years. Trying to distract herself from her nervousness, June started studying the city map, although she could hardly understand it. Geography and maps had never been her biggest skill set, but she was at least managing to keep her mind busy while she waited for the person she'd been waiting for years. Suddenly, she saw herself sitting in the same restaurant at the hotel in Madrid on her last visit, daydreaming of the moment when, sitting next to the window of the restaurant, she got the courage to make that phone call, that unanswered phone call that pushed her to leave that voicemail. Her caramel latte was getting cold, while her mind was still lost in that same universe she felt earlier, the universe of the past and memories. She recalled the isolation, the nervousness, and all those repressed emotions. But all that belongs to the past now, and today she wasn't waiting for him to pick up the phone. She was waiting for him to get dressed so they could walk around the city together. June. Octavio. Hi, sorry. How long have you been there? Not too long, but long enough to see how easily you can get lost in a daydream. Age is making you even weirder. You should get yourself checked out. Let's not talk about age and weirdness, or one of us will be at a disadvantage, and that person isn't me. As you wish. By the way, you turned 40 already, right? Not yet. But you did, right? Well, since you're ready, how about we go for lunch? I'm not hungry yet, but if you are, I'll come with you. Oh, no. I'm not eating alone. I'll wait for you then. Shall we? By the way, we need to leave the car here. We can use public transit. Depending on where you want to go, we'll travel by tram or bus. I'd prefer to travel by tram, since they pick up passengers more often and have the shortest routes. I'm a bit allergic to buses. Is your car not working anymore? No, it's not that. Almost all the streets in the centre of Amsterdam are pedestrian streets. Also, parking is rather expensive, when you can even find a spot. Let's take a bus then. Oh, I'm glad you haven't lost your sense of humour. I did, actually, but you're helping me rediscover it. Where do you want to go then? Where do you want to take me? Where haven't you been yet? Do you like museums? Not much, actually. Good, me neither. There are exceptions, though, like the Wax Museum and the Mineral Museum. Have you been there already? Or would you prefer to take a boat trip? The weather is wonderful for boating today, or we could just hang out outside. You're the guest, you're the boss. Whatever I want. Let's take the bus then. Octavio was cheekily taking advantage of this moment. Okay, but where? Here and there, looking at random streets with no specific route, until the last bus stop. Yes. Neither the Wax Museum nor the Amsterdam canals were included in Octavio's plan. He only wanted to sit in a bus and observe the city through a window. They took the first bus that stopped in front of the hotel and followed the route. Sitting in that bus, June felt it was such a pity to waste the beautiful dry weather. Everyone knows the Netherlands is known for its stormy and rainy weather throughout the year. They sat across from each other, contemplating the view of the city and each other. While he was looking at the city through the window, June focused her eyes on him, filter-free. Her eyes lingered on his straight, dark blonde hair, his left ear, his chin, his neck. She stared in silence, sometimes pausing in her private tour to look out the window. At those times, he looked at her the same way she had stared at him. Octavio's penetrating eyes were rather intimidating. He didn't feel comfortable being spotted while he tried to keep his gaze impenetrable, as if he was awakening from a dream. You're so lucky with the weather. Yesterday the sky was falling apart. I will never stop being surprised at the amount of rain that falls here. It's out of this world. June commented, trying to fill the silence between them. If it was raining all day, then we would have just stayed in the hotel, no problem. You know, I'm easy, Octavio said breezily. I'm happy that's not the case. You spend so many hours at the office, working in front of a computer. The idea is for you to enjoy the city and relax. Go out for a walk, breathe fresh air, let your eyes rest. June, I'm not here to be a tourist or to clean my lungs. I came all the way here for other reasons and to clean something else. Or has the reason changed? I think we should leave that clear to avoid distractions. Octavio declared, somehow irritated. Okay, relax. No, the reason hasn't changed. Not for me. I'm glad we're on the same page, said a more relaxed Octavio. Beyond being on the same page, I hope we're talking about the same book, June quipped. Don't doubt it. Not even for a quarter of a second, June, Octavio responded, staring at June shamelessly. June looked down as her nerves took over, and it was all Octavio's fault. Obviously, there were things that hadn't changed over the last few years. The bus finished its route, arriving at its final stop. They got off the bus and walked around, looking for a nice place to grab lunch, stopping every now and then to take pictures. He was able to capture the rarest images, beautiful shots of people and scenes, and she took photos of him. Secretly, she knew she had to keep a few pictures of him for herself without him noticing. Time is cruel, and it doesn't stop, and soon the time to say goodbye would arrive. She needed to save some memories of those moments together for herself. His absence was hurting already, the distance, the goodbye. Octavio was flabbergasted by the number of bikes in the city and said he wished he could travel by bike in Madrid, if only the summers weren't so hot and the winters so cold. Anyhow, the grass is always greener at the neighbours, or so they say. As they strolled, June remembered more about the neighbourhood they were exploring. There was a Peruvian restaurant only a block up the street. They wandered in, were shown to a table, and waited to order, seated in front of each other this time, without a window showing the street view or the distraction of the passing landscape on a bus. It was just the two of them at the table, just like the old times, just like in Lima. "What are you going to order? I don't see pizza anywhere on the menu." Ha ha. Octavio glanced at June out of the corner of his eye, waiting for her reaction. "Here we go again with the pizza story. It's always difficult for me to choose. If it were up to me, I would order the whole menu. Everything is delicious here. I miss my mum's food. You're lucky to have so many Peruvian restaurants in Madrid," June said nostalgically. "Well, it's thanks to millions of Peruvian immigrants living in Spain. Also, I see your appetite hasn't changed with the years, at least." Octavio prodded June again to see if she noticed it this time. "Oh, you want to fight? Well, I'd rather be a food monster than pretend to be delicate and uber feminine while starving away. I don't mess with my appetite. No way." "I believe you, June, but what are you going to order?" "Let's see, I'll order one lomo saltado as an appetizer, one trio de pescado, and Inca Cola, or even better, a chicha morada. Gosh, yes, better get the chicha morada. No, wait, an Inca Cola and one chicha. Then for dessert, a crema voltado and picarones. How about you?" "Me? Just one plate of the anticucho and one beer is enough. Besides, with everything you ordered, I'm already broke. How dare you?" Octavio complained dramatically, still hoping for a reaction from June. "Drama King, are you sure that's all you want?" "Yes, I'm sure, June. You know I don't eat that much. You're the one with the generous appetite." "Whatever. You only live once, and moments like this don't occur that often. I come to Amsterdam only once, maybe twice a year, so I must take my opportunities," June said, her brown eyes shining, just the way Octavio always liked. Octavio could not help but admire the way June expressed herself. She was so natural, so filter-free, no makeup on. It was her in person, at last. At least for the coming 3 days, there would be no distance between them. Screens off, no more social media photos, no more checking emails, just each other's voices, together after so many years. "You started your blog again." "How do you know?" June asked, confused. "I know many things that you don't know that I know." "Mr. Mystery. Of course. It took me a while to convince myself that I should write full-time. It's the only thing I want to do." "Did you finish your master's degree?" "Yes and no. I didn't write the thesis. I decided to leave it because I realized I was investing my energy into an area I didn't want to work in for the rest of my life. My parents would have wanted me to graduate, of course, but finally they accepted it was my moment to start doing what nurtures me inside. I gained experience while doing the master's program in Europe, though. To me, that's a lot." "I always read your work, June." "Really?" "No, I'm joking. Of course, really. I would have read your first book, but my copy never arrived in my mailbox." "Stingy." "And the ogre is waking up." "I'm sorry, but I'm just feeling more comfortable every moment. If I get a hand, I'll climb all the way to the shoulders." "And you stay in people's heads. I know that." "What do you mean?" From your first blog. I used to enjoy reading your work. I told you once that you would be a famous writer, and I still think that. I'm not sure what was stopping you from writing professionally full-time, but in my modest and humble opinion, you must dedicate your life to it. Well, your prediction hasn't become real yet. However, I left everything to write, this time for real. In fact, today I had an appointment with a publisher, one of the biggest in Latin America, to publish my novel. But, as you can see, I'm here. My prediction will become real because I say so. Period. I don't want to be famous. I had my moments, but I never had the desire to be famous. I only want people to read my work, to feel like they identify with my work, my stories. That's it. I write because I like to be someone different than who I am. I'm an actress, a singer, a frustrated artist, you know. At least in your stories, you aren't kissing a different guy every other day. Do you say that because of my failed attempt to become an actress? Well, I don't see anything wrong with it. At least I'd have the chance to kiss someone. But don't worry, this dream has unfortunately been delayed until another life. You keep writing. Write that you kiss as many frogs as you wish until you find the right one. No, really, I can see you were born to do it. You're a natural. To write so I can kiss a frog. How basic. Forever alone. Haha. You know I'm everything but basic. I know. Hey, by the way, your plate looks delicious and it smells, heavenly. May I? And the food theft begins. Unbelievable. I'm only mentioning it innocently so that you hurry up and finish it, or else it's going to end up in my belly. How is your trio? My threesomes trio. Trio are always good. You are such a perv. Food? Trio food? Seriously, what are you thinking of? Well, my food is mouth-watering. You want some? No thanks. I enjoy seeing you savouring it. Bon appetit. Bon appetit, shavers. And just like